gradually creeping to an end, and I'm happy that it's not like January. You didn't copy the brother. Certainly, we're hopeful.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday, and we're trying to relax the show. You know how we do it here on Fridays on NewDay. Every single Friday. Excitement is on. The gynecologists are in the news.
They're making the headlines.
They're making all the headlines. I don't know, but why would they do? It's all right. It's all right. Let me not go there. It's all right.
It's a Friday that I'm sure you're excited about because having worked from Monday to Thursday, you're looking forward to going out there to your workplaces, and then by 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. you would have wrapped up for the weekend. That means that the rest is for fun and relaxation and rest. So we're starting that here this morning, helping you to fine-tune what you do over the weekend, getting you all that you need to know from the newspapers this morning, and then we'll take you through the news and then to some other issues to wrap up your week. It's a wonderful day for me because I get a chance to take a back seat and take a look at what's happening there. You know, I do a lot of witch hunting around the weekends, and so this is an opportunity. Your favorite location is right?
But tonight is gonna be exceptional.
Yes,
you know,
tonight witch hunting
weekend starts from Thursday.
Exactly.
To Friday.
Yes.
Yeah,
a long weekend for him.
Yeah, a long weekend and some things that he does. I mean, some of the results that we
you know his hideout.
Say again.
You know his hideout.
Oh, he doesn't have one.
Exactly. I was going to say, he
doesn't have one hideout.
No, it can't even be one. When you have a whole witch hunter.
See me when I'm witch hunting.
He's your colleague.
Is he a wizard?
He's your colleague. Please meet yourselves.
Anyway,
guys, but there's been some worrying trend. I mean, I think 2 days ago, when the president hosted some other presidents for the AU summit, I was worried because, you know, usually when the sirens are blaring, you give way in the middle so people don't pass. But on this particular day, I saw them using the middle lane as well as the shoulders of the road. And you know, at some point you're confused as a pedestrian, you're confused as a road user as to where to even position yourself so you're not crashed either from the left or from the right. And I thought that was abusive. Certainly, you know, people take advantage of this because when the patrol is going, you can't tell when the last car actually passes. And people just join, and it became annoying. At a point, I really stopped moving my car. I was just in the middle of the road. When I saw the lights blinking, I was like, okay, because I didn't even understand why you should push me. You know, our roads are not good, and so because you want to speed away, I should move into a pothole and just stay there because your car is a V8 or some big government car. I think
it's not about the vehicle being V8 or whatever. I think that it's protocol, and
Johnny, but they should do it right.
When the sirens
supposed to be a police car.
If it's not done well,
back of it, so you know what the anti-rush is.
Some of the vehicles are national security vehicles, so they are not necessarily branded vehicles that you can tell this is it.
No,
because there's a way the fleet is arranged.
Exactly.
You know, you can't say all those things on.
Johnny, you can't. But you and I know when there's security detail because you're putting my life at a risk. I'll give you an example. You know the road from aviation heading towards airport, the airport shell and all that. So there's a curve, if you know, and to the right, I think there's a police or military something. I'm not sure what it is, but I see some cars coming from there. So on the curve, you can't see ahead because you're coming from
aviation on the curve. That's the ordinance.
Yes, exactly. So I think so. So you can't see ahead. So before we knew, when we just meandered that curve, we just saw the cars coming, and at a point, one car almost they were facing.
Wow.
We almost went off.
Were you heading to 37?
Yes, I was heading towards the cantonment.
There was no moto.
No, there was no motor. It was just cars. It was just the cars. And so if you didn't see it ahead, you just had to swerve.
I think that's wrong because there's a way these things are done.
Exactly.
There's a motto that always takes the lead to alert, wants everybody. Then I think there are about two. If the presidential fleet, there are about two that take the lead and tells everybody, okay, give way.
No,
give
this
way.
was certainly not
the
the
make
presidential
everybody
fleet.
okay. So it was somebody trying to do nyanga.
Yeah, there were buses of people. There were, and I mean, come on.
And it's always on top speed.
We need to exactly.
Power is sweet. That's what we have heard people say.
We need to put some
anyway,
decorum.
So tonight, if you are a past student of the GIJ or a present student, we're going to be meeting there. It's the GIJ homecoming, big fat one. Okay. So
if you're associated,
and it's starting right from the Abdul Nasser Road.
Yes, Nasser Road.
It's also fixed light for
exactly.
Quite a good news.
Yesterday,
after 7 p.m. I used the road and
you had fun
it was exciting, really.
It was strategic.
Yes.
It was strategic.
You know,
So-
right during the
Let
news
there
on
be light.
AFM says, well, the road is not lit, so come and let's have fun.
Yeah.
And I called him and I said, right, exactly what kind of fun
Oh,
are we going to
Ama,
be having
Ama,
on that road?
if you had ever attended a GIG, you know that around that time,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
it was
God.
not fun walking around that street.
No, it was
It
not at all.
wasn't.
So now that the lights are up,
We can have fun.
Ketsi Media
have
General,
fun.
3
Yeah.
FM on FM, we can have
But
fun.
would you want to ask him what kind of fun?
Oh no, we
Oh,
don't.
yeah,
we
there's-
don't.
no.
Our fun is
Yes.
relative. Let him have his fun.
There's a pizza joint on the left side. If you go, you can turn left and then turn left again.
Okay.
So you can go for pizza and then.
Then
walk
maybe you should
along
have
the
said it.
street
I'm sure
and-
people were worried what kind of fun it was all about. But guys,
Oh, but
George-
there are ATM machines too. So if you get a, you can have fun there.
but that would be fun for some people.
All right, it's a
Anyway.
Friday. Yes, and of course that's how we do it. Just trying to relax you. I'm sure you're watching in your bed and trying to figure out whether I should get up and go to work or not. But you need to get up and go because you need to earn some money so that you can spend over the weekend. George has the news. George,
Yeah.
my winner has been partner.
It's time for some news here on your favorite morning show, New Day. I'm George Quinn. Thanks for staying. We start off with our Parliament, where some minority members of Parliament say the NDC party has been vindicated following the recent release of the Corruption Perception Index by Transparency International, which has seen Ghana drop 3 places from 43 to 40. According to them, the 1 year of the MPP in government has been characterized by acts of corruption, but majority MPs blame the NDC government for the drop.
The latest Corruption Perception Index was released by the Ghana Integrity Initiative, a local chapter of Transparency International. The index scored Ghana 40 out of a possible clean score of 100 and ranked the country 81 out of 180 countries. The country's performance dropped by 3 points from 2016 score of 43. According to the GII, the index is the worst since 2012. MP for Adaklu, Kwame Agboja, said the index is worrying and government should work at curbing corruption.
We thought that we have put in place or were doing things that should improve the situation. I am very surprised that 1 year into the administration of the NPP, those who shout corruption loudest, we have dropped. Actually, 10 more countries have come on top of us, and we've dropped in terms of index 3 points. It's a very worrying trend, and we think the government must do more to remove this because the perception is getting worse by the day. And this is why we keep saying that corruption is not an issue to be pigeonholed into a political party one way or the other.
He added the fight against corruption should be the responsibility of all. He kicked against relying on a special prosecutor solely in the fight against the canker.
I don't expect anything to change. Martin Amidou hasn't got any laws anywhere that he's coming to apply. He's coming to apply the same laws that exist. You remember the minority always said that perhaps all we needed to do was to improve allocations to the Attorney General, maybe Shraj, maybe Ioko, maybe SF, I mean all of them.
MP for Asokwa, Patricia Apieje, was worried about the drop in the index and said this must be a concern for all. She, however, thinks the special prosecutor would help deal with corruption in the country.
The fact that a private prosecutor has been appointed to deal with this particular issue, I know that it's going to create a scare for most public servants. And it's not just the politicians, as is being paraded out there, but it is for every public officer to ensure that he takes this particular issue very seriously. So maybe we should be looking at another year or two to see the improvement in this index.
Away from Parliament, let's shift to health, where TV3 News has reports that suggest the Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital is without a doctor after the hospital's medical director, Dr. Eugene Dodoe, was asked to proceed on leave. We also have picked information that one of the patients at the hospital died yesterday because there was no doctor at the facility to attend to the said patient. Yesterday, my colleague Fredo Kanse spoke to the PRO of the Mental Health Authority, Kweku Bwebe, and we bring you some excerpts.
A patient dying on at the facility.
You haven't received that?
Yes, I haven't received that yet. Because we are basically out of we are in hold on a performance review. But patients in the facility, there's a possibility that anything can happen to a patient who comes to the facility. But I don't want to believe that it's because of the absence of a specialist on the facility that caused, the death of.
You're still watching NewDay Live on TV3. On to other news. Yoko says investigations into the alleged acts of corruption at SNET have been concluded. Executive Director KK Amwa says some officers have been indicated and the Attorney General is studying the docket to proceed to court.
We have concluded investigations into that matter. Some officers are being held responsible. The docket is at Attorney General's department. And so Attorney General is studying the docket and will soon come out with the result of the investigation. You see, the process is that when you submit docket to Attorney General's office, you don't put pressure on AG's office because there's a pile-up of cases there. So you allow them to work on it. And I believe they as far as I know, they have worked on that docket. And very soon you will hear a result on that.
The executive director also reacted to the criticism on the lack of transparency in the operations of Yoko and said the backlog of cases inherited demands that a lot of investigative work must be done.
You need to take time and present a credible docket to the Attorney General's office. We don't want haphazard cases. Sometimes when we bring dockets to Attorney General, they'll bring it back to us. That check this, do this, and that sort of thing. We want to avoid that. So that is why people say the cases at Yoko keep long. No doubt about it. It does. Having done investigation for a pretty long time, you can't do a meaningful investigation within 3 months or 2 months. So that explains why.
The executive director was speaking at the swearing-in of the governing board of Yoko by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Gloria Akufo. The Attorney General said more lawyers are needed by the institution to help in the delivery of justice.
There is no gainsaying. There are a lot of problems that are facing Yoko as of now. We need a minimum of 600 lawyers, attorneys for the establishment. We are working with half. We have been given permission to recruit only 50. And we have accepted as many as over 200 applications that we are having to choose.
The 9-member board is chaired by the retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Stephen Alan Brobe.
Only 23 lawyers are offering legal aid to Ghana's population of over 28 million people. This was captured in the 2017-2018 annual Amnesty report, which also indicated 34% of girls in the 3 northern regions are given out in marriage before age 18.
In the report, the human rights organization maintained the number of lawyers at the legal aid scheme limits especially the low-income group or the marginalized from accessing legal services. The ratio, according to the organization, is unacceptable if the aim is to make justice available, accessible and affordable. The report also captures 6 people officially considered mentally and intellectually challenged among those on death row. The director of Amnesty International Ghana, Robert Akoto-Amoafo, said the right of every individual with emphasis on minority groups such as LGBTI people must be upheld.
We are not saying that we are promoting a particular sexuality or gender identity. No. What we are saying is that let's respect people. If somebody comes to the hospital, you think the person is homosexual, is the person entitled to the health care services? Give it to the person.
On the death sentence, a representative from the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Kofi Atta, opposed its abolition, stating it is not fair to spare the life of any individual who has deprived another of his or her life.
There was this man who was staying in our area in Kumasi. He was Koko Krachi. He came to Accra, collected money, that time in briefcase. Some people followed him from Accra to Kumasi. In front of his house, they gunned him down and took the bag away. Okay, so in this situation, when you are arrested and they say death penalty abolished, me, I don't agree.
On the record of child marriage, where 34% of girls under 18 are given out in marriage, the Acting Executive Secretary, Human Trafficking Secretariat, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Victoria Nachu, stated some steps have been taken to check the menace.
Behaviors are difficult to change. It will not change overnight. We will continue sensitizing. We will continue advertising these issues.
Amnesty International also called on government to do more to protect all persons against instant justice.
The autopsy report of the late Member of Parliament for Iwako North, JB Dankwa Edu, has finally been presented to the court after several months of delay. The pathologist, Dr. Lawrence Eduse, however, did not appear in court, defying the summons handed him on February 9.
The court did not disclose when the report was submitted, but acknowledged receipt of the sealed report. The court has further ordered that the full autopsy report be submitted to the Criminal Investigations Department. The court could not tell why the pathologist failed to show up after it summoned him on February 9 to appear in court. Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Nana Obribwahin, who is watching brief for the party, noted he is appalled by the conduct of Dr. Eduse. According to him, the pathologist had consistently absented himself and once again disrespected the orders of the court. He prayed the court to cite the pathologist for contempt. However, the court adjourned the case to March 15 to decide on the contempt. Two suspects, Daniel Esedu, 19, aka Sexy Dondon, phone dealer, and Vincent Boso, aka Junior Agogo, phone repairer, are before the court for allegedly murdering JB Dankwa Edu.
And now to some great news here. Oduya FM and 3FM have installed 27 street lights on the road in front of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. The installation forms part of efforts to end frequent attacks at the hands of armed thieves who snatch phones and other personal valuables from pedestrians. And here's a report by Frederick Clarence Williams.
The Let There Be Light campaign began on November 6, 2017. The campaign by Onuya FM and 3FM was to push authorities to fix non-functional street lights on major streets across the country. The two radio stations used their morning shows to discuss non-functional street lights on highways, link and access roads, and how it has contributed to insecurity in those areas.
Yes, we know that it's a government responsibility, but we all would play a role. And so this will just not be the end of it. So for you watching us now, it means that we're coming back to you and you should be willing to assist. For me, that's the most important thing, that our brothers and sisters can walk around without fear.
And I just phone is my friend, and finally, honestly, many in fact, many say at least you'll see Eddie Ayoyo and the media general, we care about the people.
A total of 27 street lights were installed on the Abdul Gamel Nasser Road in partnership with Ghana Electrical Association on the stretch from Ghana Institute of Journalism to the police headquarters in Accra. The move, according to some students of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, will end frequent attacks they suffer at the hands of armed robbers and thieves.
The very first time I used the road, it was very scary. You know, using a route with no lights makes you feel insecure. So we are grateful for TV3 for bringing us lights.
They've been taking people's bags away from them in the night. I nearly fell one day. I stumbled and I nearly fell because of the dark.
Some of the guys, we get robbed by armed robbers with our phones. So we have been complaining to the SRC and we heard the campaign on TV3, on UFM and 3FM. We are excited about it, and right now we are happy with what has happened.
The stations are seeking to raise at least 1,000 bulbs as part of the campaign to fix lights at various parts of the country to improve street lighting.
And that's how we end news here on New Day. My name is George Quinn. For more news updates, log on to our website, 3news.com. New Day continues right after this break. Good morning.
black. Take a little time to hold yourself. Take a little time to feel around before it's gone. You won't let go, but you still keep on falling down. Remember how you saved me now from all of my wrongs. Yeah, yeah. Hey. When it's love you feel it, when it's life you see it. This is no time to be alone, alone. Yeah, I won't let you go. Yeah. Hey. And if the sky is falling, take my hand and hold it. You don't have to be alone. No, yeah, I won't let you go. Say those words like there's nothing else. Close your eyes and you might believe that there is some way out. Yeah, yeah. Open up your heart to me now. Let it all come pouring down. There's nothing I can take. If it's life you feel it, if this life you see it, this is no time to be alone. No, yeah, I will let you go. Yeah. And if the sky is falling, take my hand and hold it. You don't have to be alone. No, yeah, I will let you go. And if you feel the fading of the light and you're too weak to carry on the fight, and all your friends that you count on have disappeared, oh mine, I'll be here, not gone, forever holding on. Yeah, I won't let you go, no, I won't let you go, no, I won't let go, I won't let you go, no, I won't let you go. Yeah, I won't let you go, no, I won't let you go, no, I won't let go, I won't let you go, no, I won't let you go. And if you feel the fading of the light and you're too weak to carry on the fight, and all your friends that you count on have disappeared, oh mine, I'll be here, not gone, forever holding on.
Yeah, and that was good music coming from Seth Diamond. But it's time to do newspaper
and
headlines.
I'm a gold, right? I'm a gold.
Hey.
Bright platinum.
Yeah,
maybe. I like bauxite.
You and I can see you like bauxite, Galamsey. Anyway, guys, let's do daily graphic now. It says corruption. Majority minority disagree over latest perception index. Also, pathologist submits JB's autopsy report. And then finally, the court is to give judgment in the Jida case today. But the corruption index, there's been a lot of majority, minority back and forth.
I don't want to talk about corruption index because I think that people are, trying to put a spin on it. I'm interested in the Jida case and maybe the JB Dankwedu.
But in the meantime, then we will stay on the corruption case because
okay,
Johnny,
so
no,
I want to. Okay, so can I have my bite?
Yes,
I want to have my
do.
bite on the two.
Certainly.
I don't want to talk about corruption. There's so much confusion there. But the JB Dankwedu case. Finally, I'm happy that you know, the autopsy report is being presented. You know that the doctor said. Dr. Dusey, right, that's his name. He said what he had misplaced it. Somebody had come to ransack his home, taking away the property. And I was thinking, okay, why do you put an official document, you know, at your personal abode? And these are the processes we are talking about. So if it does happen that the gentlemen who have been held in custody are actually not guilty, you'd have kept them there for all this while because of the negligence of your duty. And it had to take the court to insist, in fact, subpoena him to appear before it and threaten him that, look, if you don't present it by such and such date, we will deal with you. If we have professionals who are supposed to aid the justice system, who will, because of their authority, you know, do what they like, it doesn't serve justice in any way. You can't put this blame at the doorstep of the court because the court is doing its bit. It is the medical officer who had to do the autopsy, who's not forthcoming with it. And it is not just this. This will be a link to so many other people who, what do you call it, have been incarcerated for wrong reasons or are being held in remand for wrong reasons. Yesterday while I was driving home, I think I saw a fisticuff with a policeman and a civilian, you know, right behind the Nima police station. I think the car, one car has scratched the other, and they were literally struggling with each other. I don't get it.
Johnny, I so agree with you.
I'm happy. I'm happy that this is, and I hope that the court will expedite action. If they are guilty, let them face the law. If they are not, let them go. It's too much.
Well, it does say that the wheels of justice grind slowly, but in this particular case, I mean, it's been 2 years down the line. It stopped. It certainly stopped at some point. And I'm thinking, this is even someone who had a public, I mean, like, you know, disposition as against someone. So you can imagine the number of people who are out there who have probably been wrongly killed, whose cases have been forgotten. And even supposing this man was just an ordinary person and this pathologist kept delaying, what were we going to do about it? We'll probably have forgotten down the line, and whoever is incarcerated will be there forever. And so certainly, let's use this as an example for every other person, because we're all Ghanaians. When we cut us, we all bleed. So certainly, whatever is good for the goose should be good for the gander. At some point, yes, the legal structure was not what was at fault, but I think they also have a role to play, because we certainly know there are ways in which they could have gotten this information from the pathologist previously. Rather than keep delaying, postponing, asking him to give him time, they could have given him the apparatus to actually conclude on this matter. Because I'm sure in the many times where they've given him summons and all that, they have provided some infrastructure for him to come up with a report. So maybe at some point it should have been, you know, accelerated rather than 2 years. Because I'm worried about the family. How do you end your grieving process when you know investigations are being done to even come to a conclusion?
Dr. Edu says becoming popular, or if you like, notorious for these things. This is not the only case. There was another in the Major Maxwell Mahama case that he's still not forthcoming with the autopsy report. How can one man hold the whole state to ransom? I don't get it.
John, initially when this issue came up, I thought it was some joke, because the excuse was that the documents been stolen.
Yes.
And I thought, no, this was a joke, because I mean, this is a very very important document. How does it get stolen? I mean, if wherever the facility was, or where the conclusion was done, was a copy of that document not stored there. So the thieves came to his house and stole the documents. What about where the autopsy was done? Was there nowhere that it was stored as a copy? So initially I thought it was some joke, but some of these things, well, once the court is handling it, I think we'll leave it and hear what the court will say. But yes, he was also told that he defied. He was told to appear in court, and he defied. The court.
I don't know why nobody's punishing him.
Let's see how the court will handle it.
But back to our corruption issue, you know, for me, the perception index, I for one would have been happy if it just came out and there was no battle or tussle, because the point is you should know where you stand and you should know what you need to do to be able to get better. I for one, I mean, it's obvious the fact that corruption is at the very grassroots in Ghana, is ingrained in our very culture. It will take many, many years to actually take it out, because it's like a child who has been born. Until God plans to kill them, it's almost unfortunate that it won't happen. But it's all up to us to decide that we're fighting it together as a country. It's not only the government or the politicians. Each and every one of us has a role to play. And so there are some things that have to be looked at, like the Right to Information Bill, the witness protection. All those things play a key role in handling your, corruption perception. Also, the fact that we've even put in a special prosecutor, we hope that that will deal with the corruption. There'll be all these anti-corruption protagonists and everything. And then we move in that direction rather than majority says is this, that. But I can understand where the minority also stands on this, because the report, for what we understand, comes out yearly. Yes, they may take certain data from other years to try and, probably compare or give a solid information out there. But if you say that because the NDC was in power and they took only maybe 2 or 3 criteria out of that, and you say now, let's say it was whilst President Mahama was reigning that all these allegations or all these things came out, then I think it's unfair. And I heard, Honorable Hussein, he's saying that if it was something good, NPP would have taken it alone, but now that it's bad, they want to share with NDC. No, take it all, it's yours. It is.
But you see, I think that the Ghanaian politicians still thinks that the voter is still stupid. We have been in this country, and at almost every year, we see a corruption perception index. Right. Every year since I have gotten to know about this arrangement. There's a release, there's a report every year. So it tells us that every year, from January to December, the report takes a look at what has happened and then perhaps tells us the state in which the fight is. I mean, this is very clear. So what is this argument about? It is 2015, it is 2016. How can Transparency International in 2018 go back to 2015 and say that we are talking about corruption perception for 2015? How is it done?
It doesn't work.
So the people who are listening and watching would know what to do. As for the politicians, they can go ahead and disagree. But they should not forget that the people who are the voters are listening. They are watching every move. You see, for me, the point is that the current government inability to fight corruption with allegations when it came to office is what might have accounted for this drop on the index. For me, that's the point. There were several allegations in 2017. All we heard government officials say is that, oh, these are all allegations. There were not even proper attempts made to investigate these allegations. In some cases, we were told that, oh, they are not anything worth investigating. We don't need to waste our time on it. These are mere allegations from the opposition. All these are part of the work Transparency International will put together and come up with this. So the government might not have been corrupt, but the manner it had handled corruption, the allegations, it's possible. There were several of them. How well was they investigated? So let's leave it at that. Next year, another one will come. But please, don't let anybody tell us that. There's a corruption perception index that takes into consideration 2 years. I have never seen one before.
Anyway,
there's always a year corruption perception index.
That's why I don't want to be part of this conversation, because I think they're all jokes. And I don't like jokes on before 7 a.m. Anyway, thank you to Grandpa for making me look sweet this morning. Grandpa isn't Dancerman. But we're ranting. Is it possible for ECOWAS to have a single currency? We've been talking about the ECO for a very, very long time. So I go to Togo and I can use that currency like the European Union has the euro. George has been ranting with the folks out there on the streets. Enjoy.
This is what it feels like.
A clarion call by African leaders is regional integration. And so, will the implementation of the ECOWAS single currency ECO drive the course? The deadline is 2020. And so, let's see how it goes. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking. Do you guys really think we need a single currency? Is it necessary?
Yeah, sure. This is long overdue. I think during the era of Gaddafi, who tried to introduce it earlier, but unfortunately he passed away and it couldn't materialize. So I think the incumbent ECOWAS chairman, together with the other heads of states trying to put things together to make sure at least the regional body will be able to come out with a single currency which will help in trade amongst us.
Okay.
Yeah, at least it will help to a very far extent even individual countries as well.
It's not necessary, but we can choose to do it. Why I'm saying it's not necessary is, you see, we have developed past that. You see, during the time of the Nkrumahs, the Gaddafis, the Mugabes, back then, if these things had started, we would have been born to meet it. Then we progress in that direction. But this is the case, we are used to being individual countries dealing with our currencies. And here comes the case now we have...
But it's working for Europe.
That's what the next point I was about making. Our biggest problem as Africans, or as Africa as a continent, is we are following the Europeans or the whites, whatever they do. Whatever they do, we want to imitate them, and that is our problem. They have a single currency.
But is it bad to copy and let's say do better?
Can you do better than them? That is what makes it bad. So if and it's not like it's the first time we've been copying them, and we don't. The fact is, if you are copying somebody, the person isn't actually copying you back. He's progressing. So whatever you do, you are imitating him, and he is improving. So you are never going to catch up with him. So why don't you be unique? Do what suits you, then somebody learns from you. That's my problem with Africans. We want to be like the European, we are one continent, yeah, but we are several countries. Why not strengthen these countries? Then we can compete against them. When we represent the continent Africa as a single entity, there we are one.
Okay.
We voice out together.
I think you are being indifferent about his submission.
Yeah, because you saying you aren't born to meet it, fine. So now you can, first of all, introduce you, make it work, then at least others that follow you come and meet it.
Modern,
you understand? Because looking at bringing in the Europeans, the euro is kind of helping them, and like something that's helping. When sometimes it's good to imitate someone. Like you copy something that someone is doing. Exactly. You just need to modify it to suit you.
Yeah, modify it. No, have we copied and modified before in this country? No, in this continent. Never. We copy and do it like it is. United Kingdom, way back, several kingdoms, their history, it came together, they came as one. They accepted it and moved on from there. This is the case. Some people are even not in support of this. And you want to tell me West Africa will have a single currency? East Africa will have...
The deadline is 2020. That's more like 2 years away from us. So it's just coming soon.
And it will just come like the CD falling below the dollar, everything. No, that is what it's going to be. See, the issue is
looking at the echo, you can't compare echo to CD. You can't echo, because even for it, who knows perhaps the echo can compete with the dollar, because this
that's my problem. Who knows? Procrastination.
It's not matter. This is not a matter of procrastination. I'm saying you can't compare the CD to echo. The echo is not even in existence, and already I even compare the CD to it. But actually,
it's being a pessimist here. Then
no, I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm just trying to be factual. We've seen a lot of copying, and it's being done wrongly. This is what I believe in. So what's going to happen to the CD if we bring the echo? What's going to happen?
I'm sure it won't totally fade out, but like
gradually the CD will fade out.
In West Africa, we even have the ability or the freedom to trade amongst ourselves. You know what happens at these spots, these entrance zones? Bribery, lots of them, corruption. These things, common trade. We can't even let it happen peacefully.
But how much more African leaders are preaching regional integration, and for me, I think the introduction of ECO would boost regional integration.
Just another one, like you remember what we learned in social studies, a rigid army for the African continent. You remember that thing? It's going to be like that. My point is, let's strengthen each country. It's not a bad idea. I'm not in support, but it's not a bad idea.
How are we going to strengthen each country?
Because the CD can't...
No, how are we going to strengthen each country? It's first things first. First things first. When you have a common currency, and we go to buy, for instance, we want to buy power from Cote d'Ivoire, no league currency to them. We trade in echo.
So,
they spend echo. I mean, so it means trading becomes even easier.
How?
Yes, trading will become very easy for us.
The continent America as one, and then let me not even make a continent. America and UK, the dollar and the pound.
Sure.
Don't they trade?
They trade.
Isn't it easy?
No, you can't say.
No, so what do you mean by
when the currency is the same? I think when the currency is same. For instance, you said United Kingdom, several kingdoms coming together. Assuming several kingdoms and they were all having different currencies, what would have happened over there?
The president has come out to urge African leaders that they should ratify measures that impede the introduction of the eco.
Sure.
And the deadline is 2020.
So the point
do you think we will be able to meet the deadline?
Yes. So West Africans will now have their currency. So when will the East Africans have theirs? Initially, I thought it was going to be an African thing. That was what Nkrumah and Gaddafi they were actually fighting for. Now it's segregated. Like we have ours, they have theirs. Where's the unity?
I think
you see the unity.
With time, other countries can just join in.
I know the same thing with the euro. With time. They will not wait for all of them before they implement it. So even if it's 4, we can start with the 4, and then the others can follow.
So do you really believe this is going to work?
I think so. I have to be an optimist.
No, it's not being about being an optimist or me being a pessimist. But the truth is, do you really believe?
Yeah.
When are we going to do something uniquely African? Not following. You know, we are trying to be like the West.
But you know, the whites are also copying the African style and all that.
Who told you that?
Did you follow the pictures in the Western world? Black Panther.
Really?
Yes.
Black Panther was dedicated to the African.
Yes. So the whites copy.
Will you go to a Dagomba naming ceremony and still do your Asante things?
No, but
it will be on whites.
At least we don't copy blindly. The whites are also copying us. The whites are also copying us.
What are they copying you for?
Sly. In terms of
what
approach, what they
wear. You see the way you are actually struggling to get
I'm not struggling. No, I'm not struggling.
It's just like you have.
The thing is, the Euro came to exist, I think, in the late 90s or so. It was just 2002 that most of the countries came to join. It became a legal tender. So with the ECO, the same thing is going to meet a lot of challenges.
It's not the same.
I would be surprised if it's even started with 5 countries. With time, others will join in.
Really, we were serious about this. You know, Gaddafi, the Nkrumah, they had plans laid down. So if we are really serious, or we were really serious, we would have just followed. So how come we would just follow and segregate to West Africa then? Whilst initially the whole idea was for the African continent. Okay. You understand my point?
Okay.
So it means we don't follow what we actually have laid down. We are just trying to improvise.
But some countries I know that have expressed their, reservations about this whole introduction of the eco. Liberia and Cape Verde. I don't know. I think they don't really side with, let's say Ghana, Guinea, Gambia, and the others. And I don't know if it might be difficult,
which is normal. It's normal.
It's not normal.
Because even with Euro, so recently this basic thing. For either you join the EU, you also spend Euro. This whole issue. It's normal. It's normal. No. With time, that's what I'm saying. With time, others will surely join in.
There's a disbelief in the thing.
At least people that have disbelief.
Maybe they have built their economy to an extent that they feel like this is going to draw them back.
Liberia.
Because now if
Liberia,
echo comes in,
Liberia, Cape Verde.
Oh, my brother.
Oh man, you're kidding me.
What are you talking about?
To what extent?
Relax. If your economy is worse, won't this run?
No, because a criteria is that these member states should sufficiently grow their economies. Maybe grow the manufacturing sector and the services sector. This is a criteria, and so yes.
But you think they are not doing it now? No, I mean like everybody.
Yeah.
Africa as a whole, we are not doing it.
They're doing it.
We should actually put more into manufacturing. Whilst we import over 80% of whatever we eat.
Wheat in Ghana.
It is funny.
Wrapping up, what's the best way to go? Wrapping up.
See, I think we should actually strengthen each country. I think it is overdue. That thing, the one Africa. Africa is a continent. We have several countries. Let's build the countries. When we meet as a front, let's put it together as Africa. Let's stop there. Let's Africa be one. See, this current age, it's going to be very difficult to get one Africa, to get one football team, to get one Charlie. It's going to be difficult. Let's build the countries. We meet at the top, we become one and fight against the other people, or compete. I think compete is a good word. We compete against the other continents, not what we are doing now?
It's better if you use a bottom-down approach. First of all, we have a common currency amongst us. Trading becomes easier. You go to Cote d'Ivoire, you buy power, no deal exchanging, CFA, CD, whatever. They have ECO, you have ECO. You go to Togo, they have ECO, you have ECO. I mean, trading becomes easier. We now start to manufacture our own things. Okay. And I think with time, Africa will get there. With time, Africa will get there.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So the public have made their stance clear on the implementation of the ECOWAS single currency, ECO. Is it going to, improve regional integration in West Africa? And let's know what you think about this. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's our News TV3. Keep watching TV3 New Day. Thanks for watching.
What is this?
It was getting this guy to bully him.
All right. Thanks once again for joining us this morning. Now, let me take you through the ones that you haven't seen this morning. The finder says give NRSC, that's the road safety, teeth to bite. Daily Guy says looters are running away. Martin Namidu's hint there. And the Statesman talks about President swears in Martin Namidu today as NDC hopes in a Supreme Court surprise. The corruption perception is also dominating some of the papers. Heritage is one. The Daily Graphic itself carries the reaction from members of parliament. Those are some of the newspapers here. My guest, a deputy communications director of the NDC, Fred Agbinyo, is here. Fred, good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
Hope you're doing great.
By the grace of God, you're fine.
Thanks. I'm good too. Thanks for joining us this Friday morning.
You've been missing in action.
Yeah, I just took a short leave.
Right.
But I was in the Upper East and West regions.
I was there too, I didn't see you.
Okay, great. I was resting, that's why I didn't see you.
Oh, okay.
You were working. And also have a deputy chief executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Eric Chum. Good morning too.
Good morning, Brian.
Hope you're doing great.
Very well. How are you?
Good too. The constituency primaries is tomorrow.
Yes, but that was not a short break. So if you call that a short break, it's a bit of a luxury, isn't it?
No, having worked for a whole year, if you take...
like almost 3 months.
No.
You haven't been here since Christmas.
Wow.
That's like 2 months and 2.5 months.
Maybe we have not been here for a while.
No, maybe. I have been here a few times.
All right.
Anyway, welcome back.
Thanks,
We just
Eric.
wish you that
Yeah. Okay, let's start this morning from the Statesman. The president is swearing in Mr. Martin Namidu today. And so we have come to perhaps what we can describe as the final lap to have that office begin to work. So hopefully Monday we might see Mr. Namidu somewhere in an office working. Fred, would you say that we have come this far and that we have done the right thing and we're swearing in the man that our hopes is on to help us in the fight against corruption?
Well, let me say good morning to our cherished viewers and congratulate him once again. I mean, Mr. Martin Namidu, that he's come this far. He's gone through the vetting. Almost everybody who was the vetting had his own conclusion of him. If he did well or he didn't do well, I think that the good people of this country are the best judges. We have so much expectations of him because all of us, the people, agree that corruption is eating us up so much, and so we need to be able to get to the bottom of it. He has severally given the indication that he has what it takes to fight corruption. That's what all of us are looking for. I am happy that Parliament has passed him, and today the President is going to swear him in. I want to see him take office very quickly and start working against the backdrop that if you look at the corruption perception index that came up right now, it tells us that our country is not doing well at all. We are still sinking and sinking and sinking. I would have thought that as a new government that just came into office, if for nothing attached, you to maintain the status quo, maintain what you came to meet. Unfortunately, we are sinking into abyss. And so I want to see him quickly come on board and see how he can help to serve the country. I think I heard you read something in one of the papers that it said those who have not done any wrong should not run away, they should not run into exile.
That's on the Daily Guide.
I don't know what it means by that. I don't know if anybody is running away or you have seen anybody running anywhere. I think if he's looking for anybody, other people he's looking for in the country, they are in government today, they are governing this country. In some cases, 110 ministers, and they're doing their own things, chief executives and stuff like that. So you should not look too far. The good thing is that I am reliably informed that some people have been prepared their petitions already that they want to submit to him as soon as he takes office. So he has a lot of work to do, really. I pray that God gives him the strength to stay up in the night to read all the petitions that will come before him, and then they can quickly set up a good office with the right human resource to be able to investigate all those allegations and see how best he's able to do the prosecution. So we wish him well to continue. But right there, before maybe my colleague come in, this corruption perception index.
We'll deal with that.
Okay,
we'll
fine.
Deal with it. But
fine.
the court issue, you think is likely to slow him down?
Well, I am not too sure. I'm sure when the appointment was made, the indication was given that they were going to call to challenge this age issue. I think Mr. Martin Amidu is now 66 years. And the law is very clear. The 1992 Constitution is very clear that for civil servants, you go on retirement at 60 years. You are given a contract in some cases for under 5 years, about 65 years. You should be going out. I remember somewhere in 2007, Mr. P.C. Apiofori, the former MP of MPP MP, took the Auditor General to court over this same issue. At the time, the Auditor General was about 63 years. And the panel that sat on the issue all said that yes, his age was above what the Constitution provides for. If you go into the Constitution, you notice that some particular offices were created. They were supposed to at least stay in office after about 70 years. You can talk about the appeal and the Supreme Court judges, you can talk about the Electoral Commissioner and then the Judicial Board and all those people. Where we sit now, all of us are aware that this prosecution office is not the creation of the Constitution, but it's a parliamentary creation. Something came to the fore in the vetting where Mr. Martin Amidu himself alluded to the fact that he drew the president's attention to some infringements of the Constitution in the law, the creation of the law and all that. But the president said once Parliament has passed the law and Supreme Court has not said otherwise, they can still go ahead. So in their minds, both of them, they believe something is wrong somewhere. And so I am happy when former Deputy Attorney General decides to test the law in court. And we are only praying and hoping that Supreme Court will live up to, his expectation to the extent that there's a precedence of a similar ruling. We expect that they will do what is right. And then if there are too many people who are qualified, if you look at the act, you just need to be a lawyer for about, 7 years, and then you are qualified to hold that particular position. If Mr. Amidu is clear to continue, why not? All of us will continue to encourage him, will continue to support him, for him to do whatever he can do to support this country. Eventually, he will leave, somebody else must come and continue. But because we are governed by a constitution, people cannot be allowed to just do whatever they want to do. At all material times, we must comply with what the rules and regulations that we have set up for ourselves say. So let's see how it goes. We wish him well. We wish those in court to Lawyer Ini and his team also well. Let's see what verdict comes from the court.
Great. Eric, we have come thus far. You would describe this as a journey that was well intended and a conclusion that we're all expecting the man to be sworn in by the president.
Well, I'll say good morning to all the viewers out there. I think we've already shared our pleasantries already. But, I mean, I think that we have to commend the president for once again showing conviction and sticking to what he really believes in. And I think that this idea of a special prosecutor is one thing that resonated everywhere the president actually went, especially when the issues of corruption came up. And that if given opportunity to govern this country, he believes that a special prosecutor would inure to the advantage of Ghana, the total Ghanaian population, by dint of dealing with the canker of corruption. This is something that you would not be able to say that any president, especially since the 1992 Constitution, has been able to do in terms of making sure that we have an independent body or person who would necessarily look at making sure that the issues of especially political corruption is dealt with. So for me, some of these commentary coming from my brothers in the NDC speaks to something that we've all known, that there was absolutely no commitment on their part, or there was no attempt at all to actually fight this canker called corruption. And that actually will give you an indication of why there was a plethora of examples of corrupt practices that was actually done, that nothing was actually done about it. So for me, hiding behind some sort of constitutionality and trying to truncate or stifle the process by sponsoring certain people to take the issue to the Supreme Court and all that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I mean, in a political dispensation like this, where for me, even as a consummate Democrat, they are well within their right to do so. But you see, if you juxtapose the commentary prior to or just after Martin Amidu was actually nominated, and then the things that have happened afterwards, it speaks to a political party that is also extremely disingenuous, if I'm being charitable. Because the commentary coming and Martin Amidu is this, and there are people even within the NDC that actually claims that Martin Amidu all of a sudden has become more MPP than MPP people themselves, and that he was just being brought there to persecute, not prosecute, persecute a certain agenda. But the point is that prior to even the 2016 elections, leading members of the NDC will stand on a political platform and say that if you don't vote for NDC and you make an attempt to vote for MPP, right, when they come into power, they are going to jail all of us because we have committed corrupt acts. That is the implication, right? When Madam Odifa Ativo was campaigning in the Volta region somewhere, that was her appeal to the people that if you don't vote for President John Mahama at the time, when the MPP comes into power, they will jail all of us. Why? Why were you going to jail somebody if they actually had not committed anything against the state? But it brings into question that disingenuity that comes from the NDC. I feel that all well-meaning Ghanaians and all individuals and organizations, civil society, that have actually shown an interest in stemming the corruption that we've had in this country would be interested in making sure that a Martin Amidu, as a special prosecutor, is successful. Now, the issue of the technicalities as in terms of age and if the office is truly independent and all of those things, I mean, we have an opportunity for the Supreme Court to make a determination on that. But, I mean, what is wrong with the president having a position that says that, okay, in this country, so far as Parliament passes a law, it is law until something else happens in terms of either Parliament actually goes back and reenacts a new one, or there's a determination by the Supreme Court. So we would have to at least be seen to be doing something about this canker that has bedeviled this country for time immemorial. And then when people like myself and Fred, who have shown a commitment that we want this country to develop, should not have any qualms at all having Martin Amidu as special prosecutor, or even anybody else as special prosecutor. And this little innuendos that he shouldn't be looking further because all those people are in government and say, oh, come on. You see, when we do that, what it does is that it degenerates this conversation into certain things. Because we are sitting here today where we've had incidents of Jida, Suba, what happened at this Sada where our money was spent to go and do guinea fowl rearing, and then we found them in Burkina Faso. People taking all sorts of things and doing all of these things. Even as we speak today, the Ministry of Roads and Highways alone have been able to save this country billions of Ghana cedis that hitherto would have been paid to people for either no work done or work that had already been done and they've already been paid and all of those things. That is the legacy that the NDC government left us. You understand? So for me, I mean, of course, the law has to take its course. Martin Amidu has stated categorically that he's not here to witch hunt anybody or persecute anybody. Now, if you feel that during your tenure, right, under your stewardship, nothing untoward happened, you have absolutely nothing to be scared of. However, if you know for a fact that you, dabbled in all of these things, then of course you have something to be scared of. I am also particularly interested in the fact that Martin Amidu has also stated categorically that he believes in a position of even a plea bargain. Now, if you've taken some money and you're hiding in Dubai somewhere and all of those things, we know that people who have all sort of properties and all sort of investment in Dubai and other places in the world, go and bring the money. Bring the money. Let's use it to do free SHS. So let's use the money to...
You know all of them?
No, that's what I'm saying, but it's public knowledge out there. Okay. But that is my point. If you have the money right now, this is an opportune time to bring the money. Let's invest in free SHS. Let's get some more buses on our roads. Let's fix our roads so that people will not die unnecessarily. We have desks in our schools, our hospitals are working, and all of those things. Then, of course, even though it was a bad thing, we would have actually made some benefits. I don't think that anybody has any interest in throwing people in jail for the sake of it. You understand? So, for me, that is my position, that even the mere presence of Martin Amidu alone is meant to serve as a deterrent. And for me, everybody out there appreciates that fact.
Right. You see, when the nomination of Mr. Martin Amidu,
just 2 minutes for reaction.
Yes, when the nomination of Mr. Martin Amidu was made, if you recall, we as a political party even issued a statement to congratulate him and wish him well at his work. The fact that there are grey issues that we are raising concerns about doesn't mean that we have anything against him. You believe in a democracy, you believe in the Constitution. If anybody says that there's an infringement or somebody is going against the Constitution, this is only fair and proper that you point it out for the right to be done. So the fact that somebody is raising constitutional issues, that yes, there are bridges in the Constitution as far as the office is concerned and who occupies the office is concerned, doesn't mean that anybody is against him. And so for you to say that there are technicalities, I don't understand it. Two, the issue that you mentioned about Madam Jafar Ativo and the statements he made in voter region, you choose to take them in the context in which you did. The woman spoke in a particular context. If you have a political party that is so vindictive, that doesn't want to see a section of the society that every opportunity they want to victimize people from certain part of the society, naturally you expect her to make comments like that. It didn't mean that she has done any wrong for which she said the thing that she said. So you can draw those conclusions. The third point he made that the Ministry of Roads and Highways has saved millions of Ghana cedis, something that we left for him. People, contractors worked under the Ministry of Roads and Highways. In some cases, they raised their certificates, they were paid. Your government came into office, at least you saw a handover note. You decided to go back all the money that were paid before. You collected all those checks, certificates again, and we're going to repay the people the second time until your attention was drawn to it. Now you come back and blame NDC for your own ineptitude. No, that's what happened. That was what happened. That we even came to mention that. Listen, no. These were. Can I? I kept quiet when they were traversing the. Can I? Eric, please. I am not. You can go and check. These are the facts. And this, yes, you understand. These were people who were paid. It was the minister who submitted the certificates again to the Ministry of Finance. All the certificates were submitted to Finance. Was it our government who did it? Go and check the facts. So that argument is neither here nor there. You just continue your work and do. You are talking about the various allegations of corruption that happened at the NDC. President Mahama showed total commitment. All the things that you mentioned under him, everybody who was living in this country can attest to the fact that there was absolute commitment by the government to fight that issue. As we speak today, the GDA issue you are talking about, the ruling is coming just today. It was initiated by his own government. The investigation, everything was done by his own government. Look at what is happening under your watch. The Cairn issue, you are swept under the carpet. The seat for chair for the president, you saw the way and the manner it was handled. The boss saga, you saw the way you went about it. I am not surprised that the perception index is going up and up. Ghana is falling. So if you sit here and then you are blaming NDC, the fact is that our record per this same corruption perception index shows that we did far better in terms of fighting corruption than your government is doing now. Okay. Surprisingly, you have only been in office for 1 year. Okay. And look at where we are now. Right. So I am no. Let me just land. I am surprised that. Let me just land. I am surprised. I am surprised. My brother and friend see have the courage to sit on a platform like this and talk about corruption. Because right now, if you move out, the Ghanaians are saying is that if you take the word corruption out, the only thing that will come into your mind now is Nanado's administration. Okay. And so you should not be delving into that area at all. It's too slippery for you.
You see,
Eric,
let me just make a quick reaction, just 2 minutes, and then we can move to the
anybody that had listened to Fred and his ilk, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago when annual Transparency International indexes like this are brought out, would actually realize that what I'm saying about their lack of candor and integrity is the truth. Because
how do you mean?
The kind of things that they said, that is why I will never attack the work that has been done by Transparency International. And the reason why I will not do so is because when you follow the trajectory of what the NDC did, where they attacked everybody from the Presbyterian Church to IEA to all of those things, and saying that they were actually apologies of the MPP and all of this. That is not what the MPP cabinet is interested in doing.
You are shifting.
What we are saying that even when you look at the index, there's certain portions that was done in 2016. Certain aspects of it were done in 2017. If you listen to the lady from the Ghana Integrity Initiative, right? She is actually of the view that there are certain things that we put in place, like the ports, e-port clearing services, the digital address system, and other things, e-procurement things that we are doing, are things that would actually stem these corrupt practices. But of course, the sort of canker that we inherited and the measures that we put in place, it always takes a while for those things to kick in.
The report you have is 2017.
Let me make my point. But that is the truth that I'm saying. No, let me make my point. This is a...
We've shifted the conversation to the corruption perception index. So you allow him.
Okay, then
please go.
Yeah, my point is...
The perception
My point is that the perception are things that are built over a period. You understand?
It's an annual thing.
It's an annual thing. But the point is that it's something that is built over a period, right? So, and I'm making a point that every time this index had actually been brought out under the watch of the NDC, they have poo-pooed it. Right, today, just because MPP is in power, now they actually agree with it.
Were you expecting anything different?
No, but that is fine. But it speaks to a certain sense of either flip-flopping or lack of integrity or whatever, or hypocrisy, if you can call it whatever you want. But I am saying that even the proponents or the people who commission that research are of the view that this government, now we've just spoken about a president showing the commitment and the conviction to even appoint or nominate someone from an opposition party, the NDC, Martin Amidu, as a special prosecutor. That alone, and if you listen to all the commentary that have come from President Rawlings, from all sorts of other civil society organizations, and that single-handedly shows the president's commitment to fighting corruption. Apart from that, the measures that we put in place, if you go to the port right now, once you take the human element out of the equation, right, then it reduces the incidence of corruption. We're talking about digital address system. We're talking about e-procurement system, so that even before that, following the procurement rules and regulations, where under the NDC, sole sourcing was the order of the day rather than the exception. All of these things will take a while for the good people of this country to appreciate that this is a government that has shown clear commitment to fighting corruption. So for me, they can sit here and use, I will never attack any organization that does an academic work like that, because I know the sort of where that goes into doing all of these things. But even in any case, if you want to critique it, then you can find a number of points to actually back your argument that, okay, what is the basis for the perception to start with? How many people were polled? What is it that they were talking about, right? And how did they build that particular perception over a period? And we can tell you that under the administration of the NDC, the issues of corruption were not dealt with. Now, he is talking about all sorts of different things, but every single allegation that has been leveled against people in government today have been dealt with, has been investigated, the inquiries and parliamentary inquiries have been set and committees have been set and conclusions have come. Unless, of course, again, the NDC, when it sees them, wants us to follow the rule of law and use our legal systems and the existing systems constitutionally to deal with issues. When it sues them, they say that, oh, let's not do it. Right now, we're talking about the fact that Dominic Ayine has a right to take this Martin Amidu issue in terms of the age to the Supreme Court. He says that it's a constitutional right. In the same vein,
is it not?
Yeah, it is. In the same vein, when something has happened, people have made allegations or issues of corrupt allegations have been made against certain individuals, and it is taken through the process through its logical conclusion. For that, they don't agree with
Eric,
it.
let
So
me
what
ask
kind
you
of double
this. If you
standards is
read
that?
the report, it says that 9 data sources were used. Out of the 9, 2 were for 2016, 7 were for 2017. Don't you think that perhaps government's inertia or slowness in dealing with certain allegations of corruption in 2017 might have accounted for this, the way we scored on the index?
No, but I mean, it says 9. It doesn't give you an indication of even the various things.
No, it doesn't.
You understand?
Just
so
told that
it is
to
even properly interrogate the report. It will be important to have an idea of what these indices are. But the point really is simple. I have spoken to a number of people who are quite disappointed that the MPP administration had not dealt with the slow in dealing with the corrupt practices that happened under the Mills Mahama administration previously, right? And they thought that because we come into power, we're meant to essentially crack the whip and all that. But of course, I disagree because the law has to take its course. And if you want to take in a cue from the senior minister, if you want to even do these things, it has to be thorough investigations. The mere fact that it's an allegation does not mean anything. Thorough investigations, make sure that you have a case, and then you basically go ahead and prosecute. Now, even we all know how long it's taken for Parliament, President nomination to come for the special prosecutor and all the things that are constitutionally mandated to be done before they come into place. For me, that is also probably a factor. But it's important to know what actually is entailed in that particular 9 indices, and we can have a conversation on that. But the point is very simple. The fact that it actually overlaps 2016 and 2017 makes for interesting reading. I will be interested to know. I'll be interested to know the index or what we stand, the perception of corruption today, after the conversation that we've had. And then what would happen even in this year, whereby we would probably have a clear indication of if the President Akufo-Addo administration is doing exactly what it was meant to. And it's clear, it's totally clear that, right, it's a total departure from the sort of governance that we experienced under the watch of the NDC.
All right, Eric, I'm grateful.
Right.
Fred.
I think that where Eric himself sits, if you ask him of the many allegations that's happening under his government and the way and the manner have gone about the investigations, he himself sitting here, knowing him for who he is, he will say that he's not satisfied with the investigation.
No, what are you talking about?
No, hold it. No, I think can you allow me? Eric, can you allow me?
I'll come back to you. Fred,
we all know what happened when this boss saga issue came up. We saw the way and the manner the sector minister set up a committee to investigate the issue. Just when they were doing their work, we were told BNI also went to do another investigation, quickly brought a report, and whatever the committee that the minister set up to do was quickly brushed aside, and then the BNI report became the report of the order of the day. And so that's what they used. You and I know that it was a study work that was done. The investigation was not done very well. Nobody was punished, and it has ended over there. Over 200 trucks of premiums got missing in this country. As we speak, we don't even know where they are. We don't know who diverted it. The minister and the brother who were in charge, allegations were made against them. They are still at post working. You remember this seat for chair saga that we are talking about? The way Parliament was constituted to investigate the issue. We all watch it live on television. The conduct of the majority on the committee, the conduct of the minority on the committee. When they couldn't even come to a consensus to present a common report. They all presented 2 reports because they were not too sure of this. We all heard it. Look at even the allegations that were made against my very good brother, the 2 deputy chief of staff. Look at how it was handled. The very deputy director of a CID was investigating the issue. Before one could say Jack, she was promoted to become the acting director of CID. Whether she was complicit in the issue or not, the way and the manner it was done. Today, she's the director of CID. Who else can investigate her? That issue has ended over there. So I am saying that the way and the manner you have gone about investigating issues of corruption in your government, you've not done well at all. Ghanaians are not satisfied.
So you
are saying
you are suggesting that might have been responsible for the way we scored on.
But it is a reality.
That is
they use 9 datas for the work that they did. 7 in 2017. Almost every year they come out with their report. So how do you say that the work that they did is up 2016 issue? When you have been in government for more than 1 year? How do you make any such conclusions? If the report had come in 2016, can I finish? If the report had come in 2016 and you are saying that typing under NDC, that would have been a different thing. If you check the record over the years, anytime a new government comes into office, at the worst case scenario, they're able to maintain what they met. But on this occasion, you are falling by 3 percentage points. And you don't want us to talk about it. And you think your government is doing well. No, now, what is all this fuss about the fact that Mr. Martinami... No, let me just finish, please. What is this fuss that Mr. Martinami is an NDC member and the fact that he was appointed and so the president had done something extraordinary, we need to applaud him. Everybody who lives in this country knows the relationship of Mr. Martinami and the NDC. You know the relation we had. You know the things he said about the NDC and functionaries even before the elections. When he appeared before the appointment committee, and was put to street proof. Now prove all the allegations that you made against former President Mahama and all the functionaries. He said, well, it was based on intelligence. It was based on perception out there. He couldn't corroborate any of the things that he said. So if this is the man you have appointed, you think, why? Let's wait and see how he conducts his work. Don't forget, Mr. Hamidu is not a judge. He is not going to sentence anybody. He is going to lead prosecutions. Eventually, everybody who will be accused will go to court. So a judge will sit in there. So nobody is afraid of.
Then your argument is that, if I'm getting you, is that even the office of the special prosecutor might not impact positively on the corruption perception index of the country. Is that your argument?
No, but per the report that has come out, that is what we are saying.
The report is 2017. Now, the
president was made in
today,
okay.
Yes, today we're swearing in the special prosecutor. From the argument you're making, then we can conclude that it might not have an impact on the perception index.
Well, it is too early to draw. It is too early to draw any such conclusion. Let's wait and see how the investigation should go. Let's see how they'll fight corruption. You see, it is not enough to just appoint somebody to go and occupy an office. The political will to do it. And I have said that when it comes to the issue of security, the way and the manner Mr. President and Mr. Government has managed security in our country, it doesn't give me any cause to believe that they have that political will to really fight corruption. Because anytime this is vigilante groups were involved in all manner of insecurity, it's not the way and the manner they went about it. They checking out, they will not get involved. Mr. President will come and tell the whole of this country that, oh, they've come to apologize to me, they've shown remorse, and so we can let go of the issue. They take them to court. People who invaded the court, they take them to court and ask them to pay 1,800 cedis, and they've left off the hook. All manner of things have happened in this country, and I've not seen that commitment, absolute commitment from the president to fighting those things. So, Mr. Martinami that you have brought here, if you go and put the man in that office, and you don't give him all the results that he needs to work, and you don't give him all the support that he needs to work, especially about corruption that are happening in your own government, I don't see how he's going to come out with any positive result. We wish him well. We want him to succeed. All of us are agreed that, yes, corruption is eating us up as the people. And this, we believe in probity and accountability. That if you hold an office, you need to account for your stewardship. And now I've demonstrated here that during our administration, there was absolute commitment to fighting corruption. Perhaps the only reason why some people thought that there was so much corruption in this administration was because we decided to throw light on it. If you had kept quiet, maybe if you had emulated what President Kufuor said, that I am not going to follow media allegations and destroy my government. Perhaps if President Mahama had done the same, all the things that he's talking about today, he will not be mentioning them. Because the SADA issue we are talking about, we ourselves decided to investigate it. The national service issue, we decided to investigate it. The World Cup issue that came up, the white paper is out, we decided to investigate it. Even this special prosecutor that he's talking about, we set up the Constitution Review Commission. We set up the commission. They brought up their report. A white paper was issued on it. This particular office was on the white paper that we should create it. It is your government that discusses. It's not a new thing. It's not as if Mr. President sat somewhere, dreamt about it, and decided to create this office. At the Constitutional Review Committee, it came to the fore that, yes, we can no longer rely on Attorney General alone to do prosecution on behalf of government. And so we need a special vehicle So that discussion was underway before you came into office. They decided to implement it. I am saying that let us see the political will. Let us see the commitment. So far, what I've seen from the president and the government, I am not too sure. Okay. Mr. Amidu, even if he's allowed to do his work, Supreme Court doesn't move him out, I'm not sure he'll be able to sit down and do his work because they're not giving the support.
But, Eric, so if today Ghana is scoring per the way the Heritage puts it this morning, Ghana is scoring 40%. We're ranked at 81 out of 180. Has government perhaps regretted not having, right away from being sworn into office, begin tracking the allegations and perhaps doing something about the allegations 1 year in government?
You see, I think that if it's a purely academic exercise, I would even ask that, why are we even assuming or even conjecturing that this corruption is meant to be political corruption? Because even if you listen to the GII, for instance, they're talking about issues with digitization and the e-procurement and the ports and all of those things. Of course, there's some element of political corruption that has existed, right? Especially under the watch of the NDC. But the point is that if it's a purely academic exercise where people have issues with their engagement with public sector institutions, maybe the police, maybe the customs, maybe going to the hospital, getting things done, DVLA and all of those things. Those are the things that actually make up the indices, right? And it's based on a global standard. But then even if you want to take some solace from the report, it states categorically that we actually did way better than all the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa.
But we dropped.
Right. But we dropped. But that is fine. But the point is that if it's a purely academic exercise, let's find out exactly the factors. Because the thing is that we are all jumping into conclusion by using this particular report without actually having enough detail. You get my point. But you see, when my friends here start talking like this, then I shudder to actually believe that, listen, giving them another opportunity, even in the foreseeable future, will be a total misnomer. You know why? Because the kind of things that he's talking about, I mean, we are in this country where Yoko came out with a report that stated categorically that a sitting president at the time, who was President Mills, the late Professor Mills, had stated categorically to his ministers, people that he had appointed, that don't pay money to Woyomi. There was a court decision that had been made that was saying that even if you are going to pay money to Woyomi, pay 17-point-something million. Put it in an account somewhere. And if it's determined that he is actually able to collect this money, you give him the money. What happened? They defied the instructions of a president, paid money to him, defied the instructions of a court, paid almost 54 million Ghana cedis to Woyomi. He was making references to Brazil. When the Brazil issue came, Elvis Afriyanka was a minister at the time, who was the chief protagonist, because essentially you have to take ultimate responsibility for your actions. Before he got to Kotoka, he had been promoted to the Flagstaff House. He got the promotion.
No, but this
you understand?
Fair, right?
So let me make fair.
No, when you make a spell like that.
No, but I am saying that.
Have you read the white paper that was issued on that?
What is the white paper?
Have you read the white paper that was issued?
White paper that was actually manufactured in the.
There is nowhere in that report that the Afriyanka was indicted for any wrongdoing. There's nowhere. Go and read the report.
I am saying that the principle of it, if you're truly, truly fighting corruption and the things that happen, and then when people were buying coconut for $25 a pop, and when we were paying people $400,000 or so to show us the way to a market and all of those things, right? When they came and sat there and went crying at the thing and did all of those things, they were promoted. Even the people, the protagonists who were involved, were still going on there, binding themselves and saying all sorts of things, prancing around, and nothing actually happened to them. Fair enough. We were sitting in this country where we had issues where we had a confirmed flying out of this country. I can mention a plethora of them, right, that were indulged in corrupt practices. NDC didn't do anything.
But
about
the issues
it.
are
We've had all these issues.
All these issues not in court. We were acknowledge that these issues are in court. So if you can stay away from it.
Let's tell the facts in this country for once.
Speak to the facts.
Now, the clear manifestation of the sort of crass governance and corruption and the canker that and the depths. President Rawlings was saying that they have taken us into an abyss. The President Rawlings is the founder of the NDC. He actually signed.
We are now going to use Judge Rawlings as a reference.
He
Is that what the point you want to make?
Right, the first NDC constitution, apparently with his blood. Right, he says that corruption had gotten to such depths, an abyss. I mean, if you want to describe what an abyss is, it's like a black hole, right? And that this is what we have done, and that we've lost integrity and all of those things. But the point is very simple. And then the manifestation, the clear manifestation of that governance was the comfortable lead performance that they showed.
President Rawlings has said same. President Rawlings has said same against the NPP. But let me bring in this. One of the recommendations of the perception of the report, the integrity initiative, one of the recommendations was that government need to quickly demonstrate that a more practical commitment by passing the Right to Information Bill. This is a bill that nearly got passed before the last parliament was dissolved. 1 year on, this government has not been able to push this bill through. Is this real commitment?
Well, I mean, I have my position on this Right to Information Bill, and I believe strongly that whatever it is that is preventing it or is creating that stumbling block should be taken out so that it happens.
We shouldn't tackle with the same agency we have done with the special prosecutor.
During the last parliament, when it actually got its, day in parliament where they were discussing it, I realized that now there was about dotting the T's and the I's and taking all sorts of things, and then it went back, and then I don't know what happens to it anymore. So there should be a clear commitment to do that. Of course, there's meant to be some sort of commitment from the executive to push that through. But the point is that this bill is still sitting in Parliament. I think that it's actually overlapped.
The whole process has to start again. Once the last Parliament.
Yeah, so it's imperative that whilst you are actually, and it's well within your right to say that government should show commitment to having it passed, right? We can ask ourselves, in the last 2 or 3 parliaments preceding this, has had an NDC majority. Right, but I feel that it's important to even clear the perception that there's something being hidden and government doesn't want to allow the populace to have the right information and all that should. There are other things that they're actually suggesting that we do to support that. I even believe that even some of the perception boils down to some kind of maladministration. Right. I still, because coming from the private sector, I mean, the processes that you even go through as a public sector institution to buy something for, let's say, 20,000 Ghana cedis really sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because at the beginning of the year, if you know you're going to buy stationery, you're going to buy T-shirts or caps or some sort of things that are not high-value items in a sense, right? Or you're going to procure services, maybe a printing company or an advertising or event management company, all of those things. You create a work plan. You create a scope of work. You create a scope of things that you require. And then all of that, the institution says, okay, I'm not going to pay more than 1 cedi 50 pesos for a pen, for instance, right? And you have a list of providers and all of those. When the time comes you want to procure, you send out a letter to them and say that the authority wants to buy 100 pens, right? But this is how much we can afford, and that is how much we want to pay. If you fit within that, fair enough. Because what tends to happen is that even in certain organizations, you have a committee that sits. When the committee sits, you have to pay some honorarium to them and all that. And then by the time you finish, the committee sitting, moving from the committee sitting to the internal one to the external one to even the this thing, you realize that the amount of money or the amount of administrative time that has been spent on these things really makes sense. So we can be more proactive about it.
All right.
Okay. So there are certain things that needs to be done.
Okay.
Let's look at what happens elsewhere in terms of best practices. And then when it comes to big ticket items and all of those things, you make sure that it's open. It's open. It's something that goes through a
Eric, let me get
competitive tendering process and all of those things.
I'm grateful.
So that we will move away from the little things.
I am extremely surprised that you have a president who is a listening president, a president who is committed to fighting corruption, who lives in Ghana. His team had gone to Brazil to go and play a football match. Some allegations were made against the entire ministry and the GFA and all that. Then he said, you know what, I am not even going to allow the minister to enter his office. I am moving my way. So that whatever investigation that needed to be done, we can do it and get to the bottom of it. I thought that we should be praising that president for taking that very bold decision. Now you come back here and say that he has instead promoted the then minister. Now a committee was set up to investigate everything. It was on live national television. When they finished, a report, a white paper was issued. Recently, when the press met the president at the Flaster House, Christian Mafaya Mazongo asked the president, what are you doing about that particular report? The answer the committed president gave to him is that I have forgotten. The president has sworn an oath that is coming to defend. He said he has forgotten about the white paper on the Brazil.
Yes, you.
And yet conveniently, you come and sit on this program, you mention people's name and try to say they have done anything wrong. Right. Anybody who has been involved in the management of football the world over, it will tell you that it's not for nothing that FIFA says government should not get involved in football issues and that we should leave it for the FA. But they can go to Brazil and come back. For the sake of accounting, they will tell you somebody bought coconut for even $100 because they didn't know where to put the figure. In football management, football administration, and playing a match and winning a match, the things that goes on there, you have no idea. There are things they simply cannot budget for. The things that they do, and everybody who is listening and watching, who knows, who will tell you what I'm telling you. And so, for the sake of accounting, they must be able to provide figures and put as a places that will not make sense to you. It doesn't mean that's why even at the hearing, some of the things took place in camera, so that nobody gets to know what happened over there. I am saying that the report is out. Go and pick your report. Your government is in office. Go and pick the report. If anybody who served on any of the committees have done anything wrong, punish him. You have the power. Punish him. That's why the people of this country voted for you. You are not punishing anybody. You are not holding anybody before any court, before any committee, and yet you come on radio and television and tell us that people were corrupt in the past. Prove it. You have the mandate of the people. All the security apparatus are in your hands. If you are really committed, prove it. Ghanaians are waiting. If you cannot prove it, shut up and don't talk ever again. And let's deal with you. What is happening in your government today? And I can see why this government doesn't even have the moral courage to say, I am going to investigate things that happened in the past. Because you have been in office for just 1 year. Look at what is happening every day. Everywhere you pass, talk to Ghanaians. I don't know the last time you visited a port. If you had visited a port in recent times, this issue about we had introduced paperless, whatever at the port, you never even mention it. Send your reporters, bro, when you finish this program, to the port. Let them go and talk to the people who are working over there, and they will tell you what your government is doing at the port.
What is the government doing at the port?
What is happening over there? The corruption.
What is happening?
People are clearing things without going through the process. They bring container, they will not even open the container. They'll just go and hang. You know what they do?
These are all allegations.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Who are these people?
They are allegations. And I'm saying that send your reporters down. You know what they do? When they bring containers, they go and scan the containers. When they put a green, can I land? You see how uncomfortable.
This is coming from
when they put a green,
Eric, you allow him to land.
When they put a green,
please allow me.
When they put a green tag, when they put a green tag on it means that it can clear. People are clearing containers every day, and they are not going through the process. And yet you come and sit here and tell us that you are doing so well at the port. It is for the people of this country to judge. The report that we are talking about today didn't emanate from NDC headquarters. It didn't come from me. This group of people, they've been doing this report almost every now and then.
Let me bring Johnny in. We'll continue from here.
I am saying that corruption is so.
Fred, I'm grateful. We'll continue from here. Johnny, good morning once again.
Thank you very much, Senior Bright. What's up? Says, this is Daniel. We're not surprised about the corruption position that the MPP led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government has hit, because he has defended all corruption acts by his appointees. We Ghanaians are just watching this administration come 2020 will have a bold say. TV3 NewDay NewDay, good morning. It's becoming clear that Nana Akufo-Addo is not serious, and it shows that all he wants to be is president. How could you sit in opposition for many years and complain about waste, and now you have the opportunity to correct things, but rather doing the worst things? It's high time we stop launching petty things. Soon, Nana will start launching monthly salaries of workers. Hashtag concert. Osman Barikison in Tamale. Hi, Bride. Before we can go away, we can do away with corruption completely, unless fasting and prayers by all Ghanaians with clean hearts and minds. For Amate Hiob in Tamale says prayer is the key. TV3 NewDay, good morning. Wow, Johnny, you're looking good though. The MPP and Nana Addo's government are gradually destroying Ghana. They implemented the free SHS policy to divert attention from their inability to perform. This incompetent president has been talking and lying ever since he and his vice president came to power. But absolutely nothing has been done this past year in office. Are you sure about that? By the time this government finished its 4-year tenure, Ghanaians will really understand the meaning of incompetence and wickedness. TV3, good morning. Martin Amidu is the best person for this job. The NDC should give us a break. Ghanaians are not happy. They're happy about MPP government, and Ghana will work again. Amen. George Ansa, a.k.a. Panya in Medina. The MPP man is talking too much, but not saying anything. Give us a stop. Stephen Eboga. Good morning, Johnny, and the rest of the panel. I'm so disheartened when I saw our beloved country, Ghana, was ranked 81st position in the corruption index. Amuzu, Solo, Oscar, in Georgia, Volta region. Thanks to God, hypocrites and liars would always be exposed. I thought the chief clearing agent said his appointees are not corrupt. Asanko in Santa Maria. If the so-called special prosecutor is coming to do any serious work, then he should investigate the sale of Ghana Airways, Ghana Telecom, the missing diplomatic passports, among others, like Ghana 60, etc. Hi, Senior. These politicians are dishonest and hypocrites. When it comes to economic indicators, the MPP wants to chop the success alone. But for the corruption perception, they want to share it. Mauli in Tema. Good morning, TV3. Please tell the MPP man that he should know that he is on national television and matured and learned people are watching him. So he should stop the concert party and be serious. Are you sure about that, Ismail Ali Nima? Papa Pajo Big Shows says, good morning, champion host. As for corruption, successful government will continue, successive government, will continue to fight it. And for us to be able to nail it to 0% as a country will be difficult. As the former President Kufuor once said, that corruption started from the days of Adam. So how then do we control it as a nation? Okay, Ghana drops in corruption perception index. OUA, if it's coming, then it's doing 40%. This shows that Nana Addo has failed in fighting corruption in this country. Not promoted to election 2020. Ablade, Efiakoma Zongo in Takrady. That's it, right? Grateful.
All right. Johnny, grateful once again. Let's wrap up our conversation. I thought we could have some time to have spoken about the legal aid challenge there, but not too much time. Just about 2 minutes. Fred, let me quickly wrap up on this for you. On the recommendations that the Ghana Integrity Initiative is made about strengthening certain institutions, looking at the Public Officers Conduct Bill, the Right to Information Bill, how do we handle these? Because there is a complete agreement that there's a need to fight this canker.
Right. You see, I have always maintained that it's not the creation of several institutions that will help us solve the canker, but one is a commitment to doing it. Now, if you look at the access declaration regime as we have it in this country today, it doesn't help in any way in solving corruption.
Some have argued that it's a joke.
Because if my brother has taken up an office and he goes to declare his access right on a piece of paper, put an envelope, and just go and deposit it, nobody opens it. When his turn out of office comes and he goes to pick it up, what has happened to it? How does anybody get to know anything? This Freedom to Information Bill, really, I am surprised why it is taking us time on end to pass it. We also the commitment.
Is the politicians scared about?
I am not too sure, because there was absolute commitment, especially when we were leaving office. The last sitting of Parliament, it was one of the issues that they tried so hard to make sure that it goes through. But there was forth and back here and there, disagreement between the minority and the majority. That's not something apparently could use a simple majority to pass. You need Parliament coming really behind it. We couldn't pass it. The recommendation that I've made, I think that's all started with the President. The way and the manner the President himself is getting involved in investigating in this country, it's becoming worrying for me.
What has the president investigated?
It's getting almost every allegation that will come up. You see the president himself quickly jumping into it. They will say they have created a vehicle that they are using an institute to investigate. But his comments and his commentary around the issue quickly reposition the issue in a particular way. So the outcome that will come is exactly what he has always been looking for to happen. I am saying that just like the special prosecutor, we have the CID, we have the BNI, we have YOCO, several institutions. The only reason they are not able to do their work very well is because of resources. In some cases, human resources. If you go to Attorney General's department, they will tell you, no, if you have lawyers, people are not interested to go there because they are not paid well. Now, if you go and create this special prosecutor's office, and then you get some investigators to come and work over there, and you are not paying them well, in 6 or 1 year time, all of them will move away. And so we need that commitment. It's not enough to be talking and say, for me, I'm not corrupt. Corruption not happening under my watch. Meanwhile, every blessed day, things are happening. And yet, when it comes to investigation, cover up. See, what happened recently about this cash for seats and what have you. Let me just land. I was so disappointed that Parliament was the body that had to investigate that particular issue. Because over the years, it has come that any time Parliament has to investigate any issue, depending upon which government is in office, the majority of the committee must come from the majority side. And so the issue doesn't really come out the way people would have expected it to come out. I would have wished that we set an independent body, get some chiefs, some journalists, some civil society organization people to sit down and delve into some of those issues. Then all of us can get to the bottom of it. But when you go and hide around Parliament and do the kind of thing that you did and come up with the kind of report that we received, naturally the perception will still be high out there that there's so much wrong going on in our society. Mr. President, please sit up. Ghanaians are looking up to you.
Fred, I'm grateful. Eric, wrap up for me.
Well, I think that it's very clear to any observer that the president has shown commitment and that the president has never really dabbled in trying to investigate anything. He has done the right thing, followed due process, and actually gotten the right agencies to investigate any acts of alleged corruption that has been reported to him. You see, another point really is very simple, that, you see, trying to create this, we used to call it syndrome, where like creating this perception that NDC and NPP are the same. We are never the same. And it's there. Ghanaians showed there was a clear manifestation of the difference between the NPP and the NDC after the 2016 election. And that is going to remain like this for a very, very, very long time. You see, when a government comes into power and shows commitment in the very first year and does something as almost momentous as the free SHS, this is a legacy that is going to leave with us for the rest of, generations to come, right? Whereby government shows a commitment in educating the ordinary Ghanaian. We have 90,000 children who have had an opportunity to go through secondary school who hitherto wouldn't have had an opportunity. These are the things that we are talking about. You have issues with our economy, whereby government is on the footing that behoves well for this thing. The president just last Tuesday launched the 10-year cash development plan, right? That is going to basically improve that sector. That has the potential to actually match Cocoa.
Eric,
to all corruption. And these are things. No, but that is why I'm saying that.
Talk about corruption.
And they have shown commitment, right? By setting up a special prosecutor's office. Okay. And any acts of allegation had gone through the right agency, is being investigated. And I'm saying that if Fred Agweno today does not believe in the rule of law, again, he should tell us.
Because if you don't believe in the rule of law,
constitutionally mandated bodies.
Eric, I'm grateful.
I'm grateful. You sit here.
I'm grateful. For those of you who sent in your comments, we're also grateful that you send them. Eric Chum is a Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, a member of the NPP. Fred Agbenyo is a Deputy Communications Director of the NPP. You sent in your comments. We're grateful for doing that. We'll read them. Thanks so much for joining us. There's sports coming up.
I go let your father. You gonna be my son, you go call me your mother, eh? See, if you break my heart, I go dead to your father, oh. You gonna be my son, you go call me your mother. I'll coffee, eh? They want coffee, eh? I'll coffee, eh? Make a sati, me, eh? Me love you, oh. Timmy, the love I have for you, the love I have for you, the love I have for you, it's for nobody else but you. Back I see you, no say I get them more. For Vista, you no say I hold them more. No style there, yeah, sorry. Me, I know like Versace, and I know like a designer. Oh. Me, I know like a Ferrari, and I know like a Bugatti. I go give you my heart, give you body, do anything for you. Sacrifice my life to be your wife, do anything for you. But if you break my heart, I go dead to your father. Oh. Gonna be my son, you go call me your mother, eh? If you break my heart, I go dead to your father, oh. You gonna be my son, you go call me your mother. You hit the jackpot, bingo. I hope you're bigger than your ego. ABC, where the D go? Where you go, Vigo. You hit the jackpot, bingo. I hope you're bigger than your ego. ABC, where the D go? Where you go, I go. Oh, oh, I go. Oh, on your mark, get set, ready, go. Give you my heart, make you carry go. Tell them, girl, I'm your girlie, yo. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I want to feel it in my belly, yo. Follow the ladder to my heaven, oh, ah, la, la, la. I give you my heart and soul, your bar overload. Are you ready, ready, ready? I go make you sing my name, sing my name. I go make you sing my name, sing my name. I go make you sing my name, sing my name. Go make you sing my name, sing my name, sing my name. You hit the jackpot, bingo. I hope you're bigger than your ego. ABC, where the D go? Where you go? Oh, I go. You hit the jackpot, bingo. I hope you're bigger than your ego. ABC, where the D go? You go. Aje, aje, uwajinjane kumyo. Drana joa, midin, sweetie papa. Kumyo, midin, sweetie papa. Midin, sweetie papa. Say midin, sweetie papa. Make you sing my name, sing my name. I gon' make you sing my name, sing my name. I gon' make you sing my name, sing my name. I gon' make you sing my name, yeah.
Lovely one there, beautiful. And that's solid music there from Evans. And the man playing the guitar is one of our own here at Media General. You know, lots and lots of talents. When we set up the Media General band, we will not lack personalities to go in there. But that's for Friday for you, as we do here every time on TV3 NewDay. Let's get into the conversation with the audit service. They have the 8th lectures that's coming up. I've been joined in studio by Patrick Nikwe, his Director of Audit at the Internal Audit Unit, and also Roberta and team Assistant Director of the Audit Performance Department. Gentlemen, lady, welcome.
Thank you.
How's the Friday morning going for you?
It's okay.
I can hear you.
It's okay.
It's okay. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're starting the the audit series, the 8th of it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it quickly. What has necessitated this? I'll start with you, Patrick.
Well, as part of the Auditor General's mandate, as spelled out in the 1992 Constitution, we exist to promote good governance in the areas of transparency, accountability, and probity. And we are also supposed to ensure that public resources are judicially used for the intended purposes. And we set out these lectures to assure the citizens of this country our continuous effort in protecting the public purse.
Protecting the public purse has always been everybody's dream. So recently, the special prosecutor, your own boss has asked for prosecutorial powers. Are we winning the fight? Are we losing it? Roberta?
Are we winning the fight?
Are we losing it?
Are we losing it? I think that the Auditor General has continuously spoken that they are in charge of auditing the public institutions, and at the end of the day, I think our powers end where we make recommendations, and we are expecting that the public institutions implement those recommendations. But for the prosecutorial powers, right. As to whether we are winning it or losing it, I think we have the Attorney General's office, and that is where, after we have...
I'm talking about all the structures. You have worked, the Attorney General is supposed to prosecute.
Yeah.
There's a special prosecutor that's come up.
Yeah.
There are other things that we're trying to do. The corruption index recently came up, showed where we are. Does it look, from where you sit as an audit service, looking at the figures and what are we winning the fight, are we losing it?
I think maybe I'll let Patrick here.
Yes, Patrick. Are we winning? Are we losing?
Yes, I'll say it's a continuous effort to improve the public financial management.
Where are we now?
Currently, we cannot put statistics to it, but
we have done 8 years of these lectures.
Yes.
This is the 8th. What has the outcome been? That's what I want to know. I'm curious.
Right. For the audit service as an institution, for us, our lecture serves as an input to tell us what the general public is thinking about us, what our development partners are also thinking about us, and what civil society also championing in improving good governance.
And then what? When people tell you what they think about you, how does that help in the fight against corruption, for example?
Right. For the institution, what we do is we take all this as feedback, and as part of our risk planning exercise, it helps us to profile our auditees as to the stage of where we are as a country, and also what we need to do and how best we should improve on our methodology of work.
Okay, I see. Let me come to you, Roberta. So now, this year we're talking about our commitment, the people of Ghana, our commitment towards protecting the public purse.
Exactly.
What must we do beyond hoping that you will do the work, Parliament will look at it and punish those who have to be punished? What can we do?
As citizens?
Yes.
I'll say that at the end of the day, we are the citizens paying taxes.
Right.
And a lot of revenues are being accrued out of these taxes. And then whatever benefits that we are getting, whether it's societal, when we look at maybe our roads, when we look at our water situations in the country, safe drinking water, etc. As citizens, we would want to see that public institutions that have been disbursed with public funds are ensuring that monies that have been given to them are being used for the right purpose. So I think for us as citizens, we wouldn't want to just sit there and see that all these taxes that we are being paid, we are paying, are not being used
so we watched
for the right
the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. Your reports are presented, detailed report that says Mr. A, Mr. B has committed this offense against the state. We hear, go and sin no more. We hear, go and refund. That's it. What can we do from where we sit, from behind the TV? Patrick, we are watching on the TV. Our hearts are broken. Does it break your heart that much?
Yeah, absolutely. As a citizen of this country and also paying taxes, definitely I'll be interested to know how my resources have been utilized. What citizens can do is to ensure that we hold people accountable. People should be accountable for their stewardship.
How?
By demanding more accountability and transparency.
But that's why you're there. So when you present the documents, we see that as accountability. And I'm asking, when we watch and our hearts get broken, that, oh, mister, this man has spent this money he's not supposed to have spent. This man has auctioned this car at so cheap a rate that it's not supposed to be so. And then what? What can we do? Right. In the face of that, when Parliament has met, what can we do? It's gone beyond us, hasn't it?
Yes. I believe you are not suggesting that we should ask citizens to go on the street to demonstrate.
No, I'm asking you what it is.
Yes, so for us as an institution, we try to liaise with other institutional bodies to make sure that people who are responsible for the action are held accountable for what they do, and that we are not reneging on this, and we'll continue to do that. And the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor also adds to the process. And we believe we'll have good working relationship with all these institutions, together with Shraj and others, to ensure that public citizens' funds are judiciously used to achieve the intended purposes.
There's a Vice President who's turning up. There's Mr. Dumelovo himself who's turning up. So many other personalities. Mr. Aveji will be there. Yeah. Will this be another talk shop?
Well, if you say it will be another talk shop, I mean, we have guests that are speaking on various issues. We have, for instance, Honorable, Abna Osaya Sari, and she's speaking on the pairs, the public pairs with regards to sustainable development. And I think on the media, we have heard so much about our bad roads. We've heard about mining development in mining areas and our waters being polluted, etc. And I think these are some of the issues. It's not just going to be a talk
But
shop.
she's going to speak at a forum. How does that block the loopholes that we need? How does that do that?
Well, I see you coming from a point where you want to see
I want to see results.
Exactly.
I want to see results. I don't want to hear talk.
That's the mandate that has been given to the Auditor General.
Right.
It's enshrined in the 92 Constitution.
Right.
The Audit Service Act 584 gives us those powers. And it's like you have given that this institutionalized body that responsibility to audit the public institutions. So we do our work, we do our audits, we bring out observations, which is sent to Parliament, and then they deliberate on it. Interestingly, we also have the ARIC, Audit Reports Implementation Committees, that have been set up within the public institutions, and they are supposed to ensure that these recommendations...
Do they do that? Do they do that?
Well, they do that? Well, they do, and interestingly too, we also have follow-up audits that we do in a while. When these recommendations come up, we carry out audits to find out how far they've been able to implement our recommendations.
Let's talk about the conference. It's happening on the 26th of February. It's starting today, right?
No.
26th on Monday, forgive me. 26th on Monday. So where are we having it? Let's do the quick rundown.
Yes, at Accra International Conference Center, and the time is 8:30 a.m.
Right.
And it's free for everyone.
Right. It's free for everybody, 8:30 a.m. Come and listen. And we hope that we get results out of that. I thank you very much. You have closing thoughts?
Yes, I wanted to say something with regards to that. For this year's lectures, one of the things we'll be doing as an institution is for the Auditor General to outline certain thematic audits that will be conducted in 2018. These are key areas that affect national development issues like the health, the education, the road infrastructure, and also introducing performance audits.
But it comes back to the same thing, Patrick, I've been talking about. Announce the thematic areas, conduct a thorough audit, and then what? What happens to the results? That's my bane.
Yes, you know, you agree with us that as an institution, we have enforced our right to disallowing surcharge, which we believe it is a preventive thing. That
so if we give you power to prosecute, it could solve this. Is that it?
No, I don't think you should go to
No, but that's what the Auditor General
But I think we've been given extensive powers about the disallowance and surcharge now. And then this is what is happening now. Public institutions are being asked to recover, monies are being recovered now from individuals, from institutions.
Thank you very much. Patrick Nikwe is Director of Audit at the Internal Audit Unit of the Audit Service, and Roberta Intim is Assistant Director of the Performance Audit Department. Gentlemen, Lydia, thank you very much. Monday will be there to support you. Let's take some more music, and Evans is ready with some rollicking acoustic performances. Enjoy.
Baby, take care of you. Are you getting me? My baby, are you getting me? All your problems, I know say solution are ego. Are you getting me? My baby, are you getting me? Mama born you, your mama born you well, and you're beautiful too. I wanna hold you, girl, I love you, girl, I wanna love you well. I know you fell in love, but nobody caught you. But I got your body, oh. Rabedi sika me your dough. Your body, oh. And you will go chop on my money, oh. This your body, oh. Rabedi sika me your dough. Your body, oh. I will go chop on my money, oh. Girl, I wanna know you. You got your belly full. Where are you, Scooby-Doo? Most of your friends are balu. Malo rekbekete, malo rekbekete. Thunder fire the person. We say I no go love you. For you, your mama born you well, and you're beautiful too. I wanna hold you, girl. I love you, girl. I wanna love you well. I know you fell in love, but nobody got you. Don't tell me why you Odo ye we udo ya mama ye wado. Odo ye we udo ya mama ye wado. Oh na na na.
It's your birthday today. It's from DJ Phil, and it's a special day today. And to you, David Wincott, and the folks out there in the Upper West region who are on the Melia Coalition Against Galamsey, good morning to all of you, and thank you for watching. But today it's happening. The big thing is happening today proudly. GIJ alumni is inviting you to a homecoming. So if you're as proud as I am, as Senior Bright is, join us at the forecourt of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, Africa's foremost. And tonight, it's 4 p.m. It starts from 4 p.m. till late. There'll be live band music. There'll be a lot to drink, a lot to chill, a lot to chew on, great company. And we'll take advantage to launch the GIJ Club 100. So all past students from 1959 all the way to 2017, join us. And let's have a big fat one there. So it's happening tonight. And very interesting, though, that you should see this, right? This is it. We are eating Ghana. We're loving Ghana. And we're enjoying Ghana. This is it, right? See, what have you got to say?
Friday.
Yeah.
A few drinks.
There'll be some at GIJ tonight.
Yeah.
There'll be some at GIJ tonight. And you know that Asempa and I have a bout coming up.
Is it scheduled for this
Yes.
evening?
No, it's not. Okay. But this man, he can't fight me. It's not. It's the sit of March. Yeah, it's a fight. You know, look at the way his face is blown.
Asempa looks like a haggler.
Okay.
And so I doubt if you can really withstand.
No. You see, this is how Bukombanko look like, and Basti beat him up. So anyway, but in the love of Ghanaian meals, have something like this. Have something like this. This is super. And maybe finally, right between this one, okay, between this one and this one, okay, and this one, which would you choose? Palava sauce with yam and pear, or fried yam?
I'll go for the super dish.
Fried yam with tilapia and Coco says she likes option 2.
Yeah,
and
I think this is great.
You like this one?
Yeah, because this can go for banku, fufu, teaser, and direct. and under the meat, you can find.
You can find, yes.
In fact, even if I have Gary balls, it will go.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us. It's Friday, and you know Community Connect is up there at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. But I'm standing by with Mr. Diamond, and they're going to have a chit-chat. We'll see you later on Monday. Amma, over to you.
Certainly, Johnny, but I saw that food, and I'll be indulging, so do join us over the weekend, because we'll have fun. But I'm here with Mr. Diamond, Seth Diamond. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little about yourself. Let's get to know you.
Seth Diamond is a gospel inspirational artist, a product of Central University College.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm pursuing full-time music now.
Okay, what inspired you to go into music? Is it the money, the fame, the girls? What is it?
No, basically it's a passion. I think I was born to do this, so.
So at what point in your life did you realize this is the time to transition to full-time music?
Okay, right after SHS, I went to Central University, and that's when I realized, okay, so this is my calling, this is what I have to be doing, because everything I was doing was just about music. So I was like, okay, so this is it.
But was there a time, you said you're gospel, so was there a time you heard the voice, God calling your name and saying, follow this path?
Exactly. When I became the music director for the choir, and I was so much into the gospel, and I heard the voice of God and said, this is the path I've chosen for you. So that's how come.
But obviously, you don't look like the typical gospel guy. So the hair, the make, I mean, like you're all pinned up. So tell me about that as well. Why the style?
Yes, style is very important. Branding is very important. I don't think as a gospel act you should look mediocre. Yeah, God is creativity. So I think we should be able to inculcate everything, style and craftsmanship in gospel as well.
But do you think the Ghanaian market is ready for that kind of style, as you call it?
Gradually, I would say it's picking up, because initially when urban gospel started, it wasn't accepted, but now I think it's picking up.
Do you have any music to your credit that we should know about? Any singles, any albums?
Yeah, I just released my single and a video to it, so I'll be performing that right now.
Nice. What's the title?
Trust Issues.
Trust issue? Who do you have a trust issue? God or the Holy Spirit?
No. Yeah, sometimes because of the difficulties in life, we are just left with trust issues, and we feel like, okay, so we have no one to talk to. But God is the ultimate, and He's ready to listen to us anytime.
Let me put you on the spot. Do you have a favorite verse?
A favorite verse, yes. Mark 1:17, and Jesus said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
Indeed, and you are making us fishers of men. But let me take this opportunity to wish a happy birthday to Samuel Osei-Kumsin. This is coming from Theresa Autry here at TV3. But guys, I leave you in the hands of Seth Diamond and his music. Have a blessed weekend. We'll see you same time next week.
Okay.
They gonna break it, break it. They gonna break it, break it. They gonna break it, break it. They gonna break it. I know. It gets hard sometimes to find someone to trust. It gets cold, it gets cold. It gets cold sometimes, but it's alright. Daddy told me not to trust anyone. Mama said, my baby, shine your eyes. Daddy told me not to trust anyone. Mama said, my baby, shine your eyes. Don't put your trust in men. They gonna break your heart. Don't put your trust in men. They gonna they'll break your heart. Put your trust in God. Let's go. I didn't know that I'll be singing the song till reality caught up with me. All I wanted was to trust someone and love someone with all my heart. Daddy told me not to trust anyone. Mama said, my baby, shine your eyes. Daddy told me not to trust anyone. Mama said, my baby, shine your eyes.